You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me.
What the fuck?!
Those who make idols resemble the things they worship, deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth.
When men choose not to believe in God, they do not thereafter believe in nothing. They then become capable of believing in anything.
They made me jealous with what is no God. They angered me with their worthless idols.
British Associated Fellowship of Satan presents
The metaphor of unholy idols.
We're focusing today on the Book of Lies. And no, I don't mean Aleister Crowley's Book of Lies. I mean the Bible. In the Bible, there are 10 commandments that God supposedly threw down to earth with lightning bolts and goodness knows what else. But it's 2 of the first of those commandments that I want to focus on in this video.
Firstly, this is the myth behind the 10 Commandments story.
From the burning bush, O Lord, you charged me to bring the people to this holy mountain, to behold your glory and receive your law. What have I left undone?
And they overlaid the image with pure gold, and Aaron fashioned it and smoothed it with the hammer, ready to be graven by cunning art and man's device. And he fastened it with nails, that it should not move. And he that smote the anvil did beat the molten gold into thin plates, for they had gathered their treasure into the midst of the furnace, and did blow the fire upon it to melt it.
Ah yes, the infamous golden calf. I have a miniature right here from the Satanic Temple, Germany, that Bafos went and visited earlier this year, the temple tag.
The golden calf incident, often referred to as the sin of the calf, is first described in the book of Exodus. Interestingly, this moment is even referenced in grand artistic works, like the opera Faust, which features a powerful song about it. I saw a performance recently. Faust really knows how to strike the right chords. In Exodus 32, 1-35, the Israelites, in Moses' absence, begin worshiping a golden calf, an act that reflects the common bull worship found in many surrounding cultures at the time. When Moses finally descends from the mountain with the full set of 10 commandments, the very moment dramatized in the clip, we see his explosive reaction. Here's what the text says. He said to them, "Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, each of you put your sword on your thigh, go back and forth from gate to gate throughout the camp, and kill your brother, your friend, and your neighbor." The Levites did as Moses commanded, and that day about 3,000 people fell. Then Moses said, "Today you have been ordained for the service of Yahweh, for you went against your own kin, and so God may bestow a blessing upon you this day." So to summarize, 3,000 people were slaughtered in God's name by Moses' command, just after he had pleaded with God not to destroy them all earlier. It's jarring. Moses intervenes to save them from divine wrath, only to order a mass killing himself shortly after. And all this in a narrative where one of the very commandments is, "You shall not murder." This isn't just contradictory, it's deeply unsettling. Moments like this reveal the paradoxes and, frankly, the disturbing violence embedded in the foundations of the Judeo-Christian tradition. It's a stark example of how religious narratives can veer into hypocrisy and moral incoherence, often justified by divine authority.
So you're not allowed to make a depiction of God. So these statues that we collect throughout our satanic journeys that represent our practice could be seen as these false idols, these objects of worship like the golden calf. I'm sure a few of you have got some of these items in this video. I just go a bit overload. But I've also travelled far and wide to see depictions of Lucifer. Like when I visited Benelux to go and see the Genie du Mal, or the Fountain of the Fallen Angel, where I visit quite frequently and where I perform some Varan baptism.
We, the British Associated Fellowship of Satan, stand before the gates of Pandemonium and call forth Lucifer from the pit to guide us in our unholy rites of unbaptism.
And lastly, where I found our final one recently, within the past week, in Birmingham, England. As you can see me here with another Bafos member. Let's take a quick look at how this statue is responded to in Birmingham.
I think it's actually quite a beautiful looking statue, considering what it's depicting. And we were just talking actually when we came in about the children that were sitting round about it. I don't think actually a lot of people realise it's actually a statue of Lucifer, the devil, which is quite ironic because it does look very beautiful, the statue. Even the wings, it looks more like an angel as opposed to which it is. But yeah, I think it looks beautiful.
Long flaming from ethereal sky, with hideous ruin and combustion down, to bottomless perdition, there to dwell in adamantium chains and penal fire, who durst defy the omnipotent to arms.
On first seeing the statue, he makes me feel kind of drawn to him. He's an intriguing figure. It's slightly rude, of course. It's got a little bit of nudity, so he's a bit controversial as a character. And it just makes me want to read a bit more about what the figure means and why the artist produced it.
Lucifer is the centre of the room, just watching me, and I feel uncomfortable with that imagery in the room. Yes, I do believe why it's controversial, because many religious groups have evil figures that they have. Well, Christianity has Satan, and this is a statue of that evil figure who's in a public building. So. Who first seduced them to that foul revolt? The infernal serpent, he it was whose guile, stirred up with envy and revenge, deceived the mother of mankind.
That it stands out and it sort of draws people to it. It's quite an expressive piece of art that people will look at and probably be quite intrigued by. I think people accept it, but they also probably take quite a few looks at it to try and make sure they capture everything that the sort of statue's all about.
The statue makes me feel very uneasy, because it's such an odd combination with the female head and the male body that it doesn't seem to fit quite right, which I think is pretty exciting. I think that the statue might be controversial because it's got full frontal male nudity, which some people find uncomfortable, and the fact it's depicting religious imagery but not like an angel or god. It's pretty like showing Lucifer.
What time his pride had cast him out of heaven with all his host of rebel angels, by whose aid aspiring to set himself in glory above his peers, he trusted to have equalled the Most High.
So what about our TSC statue?
Well, it's an event that's created a lot of buzz among local churches and Christian groups. The largest public satanic ceremony in history happening right here in Detroit. 7 Action News reporter Jane Park is live with us tonight. Jane, organizers went to great lengths to keep this a private, exclusive party. What's up?
They really did, Dave. Now, we are standing along Grand River, and the building behind me was where guests originally came, but shortly after they were let in, they were told to go to a second undisclosed location where we're to believe that party is going on right now. The Satanic Temple made it very clear it would be their members and their guests and not our cameras that would be getting a first look at this much talked about statue. The lines ran along the graffitied walls, at least 100 people eagerly waiting for what's been kept well under wraps.
It said, dress like an animal or wear horns and tails.
Some drove in from as far as upstate New York to see the Satanic Temple unveil a 9-foot-tall bronze statue of a goat-headed Satan.
It just seemed like it'd be a historic event.
The guests came dressed to impress. Each paid at least $25 for a ticket. Security inside was tight. No cameras or media allowed in. No cell phones and photographs allowed. The secretive nature of the event didn't prevent a few protesters from attending.
We figured, well, if they're going to unveil the statue and show statue, well, we're going to show the statue that beat this statue.
Of course it's an idol. And what's funny is it directly opposed the 10 Commandments on government property. Not just that, but remember that clip that I showed you earlier of the 10 Commandments movie with Moses and the weird, twisty, spirally orange god light thing zapping the stones? The 10 Commandments were put on this government property to promote that very film. They were not supposed to be there for Christianity's dominance, even though there was a bit of that as well, and that's how we saw it and everybody else saw it. But how ironic that it is a promotion for a Hollywood movie. That's why they were there in the first place. So I think our false idol, no matter how evil people may think it is, I think our Baphomet statue has a lot more dignity being there than those 10 Commandments. So treasure your false idols. Let them represent everything blasphemous and brilliant about our religion. And I just want to say, as well as happy Unveiling Day, happy BAFOSatan's birthday. Here's a card which I got for our launch day, which is a bit of our historical memorabilia. So happy Unveiling Day and happy birthday, BAFOSatan.
Despite rising injustice and attacks, we are still here. We have grown and we have endured. Our presence is resistance and we will unveil the truth with pride. On behalf of the British Associated Fellowship of Satan, happy Unveiling Day and a happy second birthday to us. Hail, Satan.
Dedicated to the minorities who face great injustice in 2025, especially to our dolls, or false idols, we should say, to keep within the aesthetics of our theme. We are with you and we hail you.